Let's talk about the design argument, which looks at the world around us and comes to the conclusion that there must be a creator behind it all. Things seem to be too complex or intricate to have come about by mere coincidence, so there must be a designer behind it all, which many argue is part of the evidence suggesting that there is a God. In this video, we'll dive into some of the key points of the design argument, as well as some of the criticisms and counter-arguments against it. St. Thomas Aquinas was a 13th century philosopher and theologian who attempts to synthesize Aristotelian philosophy with Christian thought, seen in the fifth of his 5 ways in Summa Theologica. In this is the argument as follows. Natural objects do not possess in themselves the intelligence needed to reach their end purpose. For example, an acorn does not contain the intelligence needed to become an oak tree. We can observe that natural beings nearly always act in a way to achieve the best results in meeting their purpose. Again, such as an acorn becoming an oak tree. Whatever lacks intelligence cannot move towards an end purpose unless directed by an intelligent being. Just as an archer, an intelligent being, directs an arrow, an unintelligent being, God must direct nature. Therefore, there must be an intelligent being directing all natural beings, this being whom we call God. William Paley, an 18th century English theologian, wrote about the design argument in Natural Theology, arguing that God's design could be seen through the general well-being evident in the physical and social order of things. Paley puts forward the intriguing analogy of a watch. The watch, which has been stumbled across, has the features of a manufactured machine, in that all the parts fit together to serve a specific function, i.e. telling the time. Manufactured machines are the products of intelligent design. Objects in nature are analogous to manufactured machines, and analogous effects have analogous causes. Therefore, objects in nature are the result of something analogous to intelligent design, and the agent responsible for such design must be God. Take a moment to think about the graceful patterns on a butterfly's wings, the balanced shapes in seashells, or the complex workings of our own eyes. These are just a few examples that show how nature has a plan rather than everything happening by luck. It's like someone carefully thought about how things should look and work together. These patterns and purpose we observe all around us can be seen as strong indications that there's a creator behind it all. Another really interesting thing about the design argument is how everything in the universe seems just right. Scientists have found that even tiny changes in the way things work would make life impossible. It's like everything has been perfectly set up for galaxies, stars, planets, and us to exist. This fine-tuning points to a deliberate plan instead of things happening by chance. It's pretty amazing to think about how everything has to be just right for life to be possible. It's almost as if someone or something made sure that everything was in place for us to be here. When we look at how living things are put together, it becomes even more clear that there's a design behind it all. Take DNA, for example. It's like the instruction manual for life, and it's super complicated. And inside cells, there are all these processes happening in a really precise and coordinated way. It's amazing how everything fits together perfectly. The design argument says that this level of complexity couldn't have just happened randomly. When we see how intricate and interconnected these biological systems are, it's hard to believe it's all just a coincidence. While the design argument can be seen as providing evidence for the existence of a creator, it does face criticism. One major counter-argument comes from Charles Darwin and his concept of natural selection. Darwin's theory of evolution suggests that the apparent design and complexity in nature can be explained by the gradual processes of adaptation and natural selection, rather than by intentional design. Another philosopher who contributed to the discussion on the design argument was David Hume. Hume was skeptical of the argument from design and proposed that the appearance of design in the universe could be the result of natural causes rather than a conscious creator. He argued that it is possible for complex systems to arise through natural processes without the need for a designer. Also, some skeptics claim that the design argument falls into the trap of the God of the gaps fallacy. This means that attributing natural phenomena to a higher power is seen as an argument from ignorance. These skeptics believe that science will eventually provide natural explanations for the complexities we currently attribute to a creator. Critics also wonder why certain things exist, like the blind spot in human eyes, if there's a supposed purposeful design behind them. Plus, there are things in nature that seem to have no purpose, like body parts that don't do anything. Skeptics argue that if there's no obvious purpose, it challenges the idea of intentional design. They also point out that humans tend to find purposes for things, even when they might not have been designed that way. For example, we could use a finger as a nose picker, but that doesn't mean the finger was made specifically for that. But people who support the design argument respond by saying that we don't have to fully understand how something works to recognize its design. They say it's like when we know a phone was made by someone, even if we don't know all the details of how it was put together. The complexity and order we see in nature show that there is a deliberate design, even if we can't completely understand it. So the design argument makes us think about whether there is a creator. Some people disagree and offer other explanations, but the idea of an intelligent designer is still interesting to think about. Whether you believe in the design argument or consider different ideas, trying to understand our existence is an exciting journey that captures our minds. What do you think about the design argument? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.